think I know what's causing it. Since the latest episode came out, which I am going to say, if you're going to watch this right now, there will be spoilers in it in this strategy video for. I think I've worked out what's happening. Since in the... Was it the last episode? Yes, I think it was episode 4. We found out that Vision's head was basically what it was at the end of Infinity War, which basically means he's dead. This actually sort of works with my Barf theory from a couple of weeks ago. But replace Barf bio-augmented retroframing with the Mind Stone. Now, why am I saying this? Why is the Mind Stone important? Well, the Mind Stone is an amplifier, if you think about it. Because, let's put it this way. Wanda can create things, can move things with telekinesis. And she is very powerful. She can squash, manipulate objects reasonably well with her telekinesis. She cannot alter matter at the subatomic level. But what the Mind Stone can do can. So, well, no, it can't. It can transmit from somebody's mind and create illusions. But the Mind Stone was created... Was it created from... Hang on. Remembering my Age of Ultron. Yes. The Mind Stone also created Wanda. It allowed her to be basically powered up by the Mind Stone, and she has the powers that she has because of the Mind Stone. Vision was not really created, but uses the Mind Stone as, how shall we put it, a memory storage, I think, I'm not certain on that, and a CPU cooler. Now, this is where I'm getting this from, is basically because from what I can tell, most of Vision's mind works, most of his background processes are there. All he needs is the Mind Stone to regulate temperature. It actually said in Captain Civil War that the Mind Stone actually regulates temperature in his body. So that would fit for that. So I think the Mind Stone has a slight link with Wanda. I think she touched the Mind Stone. That's what I think happened. I think she was trying to rebuild Vision. From what we see in episode 5, she goes and gets Vision. Now, I am not sure of the timing of the events. It doesn't make sense. If she touched the Mind Stone before getting Vision, I think she got Vision first because she was she was distraught. She was angry. I think that's what happened. Then she found Agnes, who had the Mind Stone. Now, what I think, but I'm not sure. There are some things about this that are very fluidic. Let's put it that way. I think Agnes is a bit of a red herring, villain-wise. I think I know who the villain is. And it's been hinted and hinted and hinted. It's the program that's in the Mind Stone. Now, I'm not saying it's Ultron. Ultron is a different thing to what's in the Mind Stone. There is a program in the Mind Stone. Now, Ultron is what Tony Stark made from trying to get the program out. And basically, what is in the Mind Stone is a sentient being. It's sort of like the processor in my phone. It controls the phone. It commands the phone. I just press buttons to make it do stuff, if you see what I mean. That is what I think is happening. I think somebody told Wanda that the Mind Stone can bring back Vision. She touched the Mind Stone, created this whole safe space for herself. Now, where is it going? I don't quite understand why the safe space is so big. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know. CMBR. Oh, right. Okay. That now makes sense. Okay, right. I've just cottoned onto something. It's got to be the Mind Stone. Here's why. The Mind Stone is sending out the program. The Mind Stone is the transmitter, and the person, it's basically the director of the show, with Wanda's sort of subconscious directing it as well. She's the director, and the Mind Stone's the writer. If you see where I'm going with this, the Mind Stone is also keeping Vision alive. That's what Wanda wants. And what does the Mind Stone want? Yeah, this is where I'm thinking Agnes, I think, is just a third party in this. I really do think Agnes is a third party in this, because I think she just got bundled in, but isn't the main villain. And it's not Mephisto. It's the Mind Stone. The Mind Stone is sentient. Now, I won't talk about what else happened in the latest episode, but this is my theory. I think it is the Mind Stone that's causing this. My bath theory is on the... It was going in the right direction, but there are some things in that episode that just made me think it's the Mind Stone. Because you sort of think, well, why certain things? And then it just makes sense. Now, if Wanda... Yeah, of course. Oh, of course. Yeah. Now, where I'm getting this idea that the Mind Stone is basically the power amplifier for Wanda's abilities is she walked outside of Westview. Spoilers, you didn't really, but I told you spoilers anyway. But she walked outside of Westview and she still had her powers. She didn't control everything, but also it's interesting. Wanda had powers to reanimate her clothing to her standard 20th century clothing, 21st century clothing, not to her 80s style. She walked back in, she was back in her 80s style again. I think that's what's happening. And I think what's most interesting is it's the Mind Stone. It's the Mind Stone keeping Vision alive. It's the Mind Stone amplifying Wanda's powers to create this safe space, and it's also taken the idea of the sitcoms off her because that was something, probably something in her childhood she liked. She liked American sitcoms, and sort of imprinted it off her. And this is safe. She loves this place. Do it. Um, yeah, I think that's why the Mind Stone. Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be the Mind Stone because I can't really explain it. If you've watched the whole series, you'll understand where I'm going. If you've seen my previous video where we've gone through the bath theory, basically take that theory, take away the bio-augmented retro framing created by Tony Stark, and add in the Mind Stone. She has a connection with the Mind Stone. So there are three people in that place that have a connection with the Mind Stone. The Mind Stone has a connection with Wanda, because basically her powers were created by the Mind Stone. Vision has a connection with the Mind Stone because it basically was in him, and also it was a, how should I put this? On a CPU, you've got to have a cooler. The Mind Stone was a cooler for Vision. That made him work. And also, I think his power, I'm not going to say laser beam, but his blast ability was the heat that he generated from the vibranium exoskeleton. Basically, his processor, his vibranium core, being used to, how should I put it? His vibranium CPU. Because that kind of computing power needs a lot of energy. Now, with a cooler like the Mind Stone, which basically probably just takes the energy and doesn't really notice, yeah, yeah, it works. Tell me if you think this theory works. I know our bath theory was out of the question, but since Wanda has walked out of Westview and nothing has happened to Westview, and she didn't look she was strained doing that. She still had most of her powers, and she didn't look like she was on sort of overstretched. This makes sense. And it also makes sense why Vision is also breaking through the barrier of the illusion. Because he has a really powerful connection to the Mind Stone compared to Wanda, who has more of a. She has more of the power, but he has more connection to it because he had it longer than she did. This is just my theory. Let's not say it's perfect, but it's a theory. So, tell me what you guys think in the comments. Tell me what you think. Because I think this is an interesting theory. Bye.